I need to drop out.
Is this the line?
What does it look like?
F me, right?
Making the decision to pursue engineering in college may be a tough one, especially if you don't know anyone that has gone down this career path. A lot of people will tell you that it's too hard, too competitive, painful, hell on earth for 4 years, and unfortunately, all of this is true. However, you meet different types of people pursuing your career path. A lot of the times you will hear people say something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm only doing it for the money." But I think that's a one-way ticket to hating your career. First, I want to talk about some things you should consider before picking engineering as a career path. I feel like the first thing that you should consider before becoming an engineering student is, are you good at math? Are you good at the sciences like physics and chemistry? Or do you actually enjoy these subjects? If any of the answers are no, then you should probably reconsider. Not to say that this isn't the choice for you, you would just have to force yourself to either become adept at these subjects or find a way to enjoy doing and applying them in the real world. Unfortunately, high school doesn't really teach students how to apply and enjoy these subjects until you get to your calculus and physics classes, and even then the subjects can still be dry. But that's probably a subject for a future video I will cover. Another thing to take into consideration is if you're naturally good at solving problems or have a strong desire to do so. They don't necessarily have to be related to engineering, but if you're a good problem solver, it might make your life a little easier because that's all you're going to be doing for the 4 long years you're in school. Unlike high school, you can't memorize procedures and get away with that. You have to think on your feet, and it usually is best if you're skilled in multiple fields. There's a thirst that comes with wanting to know more, and developing new skills and having that kind of mindset is very important. I feel that if you also have a goal in mind, it may supplement your engineering career. Personally, I went into engineering knowing exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm still in the progress of achieving that. As I said in the last video, I graduated with a degree in civil engineering with a concentration in structural, and I am now pursuing my master's in structural engineering. Going into my freshman year, I knew that I wanted to do structural engineering, and I am still on my way to achieve that goal. I do keep in mind that some things can change along the way, so not everything is set in stone, but this is a general goal. And then there are some students that don't know what they want to do, so they end up picking mechanical. From what I've heard, half the time they love it, and the rest are unhappy with it and switch over to different majors. Even in civil engineering, you have some students that go into the field because of a relative or parent that's in it or owns a company. Sometimes they end up completely switching over because it's not what they're interested in. Personally, I think it's completely okay to want to switch over if you don't enjoy your major, because if you don't see yourself doing this kind of stuff in the long term, there's no point in investing your time in a career you know you will be miserable in. Unfortunately, some people stay in because they have some sort of pressure to live up to their parents' expectations or someone else's. Granted, graduating in engineering does come with a prestige associated with it, but sometimes it's best to plan your future around something that might be more worth your investment in the long term. Side note, I should probably mention that in this major, you're most likely going to experience an overwhelming amount of stress. This sometimes leads to students becoming depressed or even suicidal. I just wanted to let you know that it's okay to feel the need to take some time off or leave this major. There's nothing wrong with that because your mental health should be your #1 priority. I know that I didn't take my own advice in college, but I'll probably discuss that in another video. Anyways, the next thing you will see in college as an engineering student is a spectrum of different professors. And when I say spectrum, I'm referring to their ego. Sometimes you have professors that think they're God's gift to the universe, meanwhile there's some stuck-up asshole that teaches an intro class. There isn't much to talk about these professors because they're all the same. You will always have them, and it's something that you're going to have to deal with. This is not exclusive to engineering. Other times you find professors that do have huge egos but actually prove their worth. I call these professors filter professors. These types of professors usually challenge their students to the point where they're basically passing by, but in retrospect end up helping you grow as a person and engineer. Quite a large chunk of the class will fail this professor on their first time, but sometimes this is just because the professor wants you to prove that you're in it for the long run. These professors don't want you to give up. They throw shit at you to see how you can handle it, and if you can.
Now clear your desk. We have a pop final on statistics describing bivariate relationships. This is English! I can't be in here.
Personally, I think there are pros and cons to this. The pros are that it supplements your ability to handle tough situations further down the road. It increases your resistance to stress, and it makes you impervious to unplanned situations. There's also prestige that comes with passing these professors and also gives you a sense of accomplishment. If you've ever played Dark Souls, you kind of know that feeling. The cons are that sometimes the victims of this effect are not financially stable enough, and sometimes they end up dropping out of the program or college altogether. Not only that, but it can put a pretty nasty mark on your transcript, especially if you were only able to manage a C or below in class. And then there are the chill professors.
Wait, oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
These are people that acknowledge that you are human and help stabilize your mental health while, most of the time, administering an enjoyable class. A lot of the time, these professors inspire students, pique their interest in the subjects, and sometimes influence major life-changing decisions. I know quite a few professors like that during my 4 years, and they definitely inspired me to keep going and finish my career. Difficulty level does vary for each professor. In terms of the chill professor, you can get 3 types. You can get the really easy class with a shallow learning curve or easy grading guideline. The professor does care about the material, but they don't want to overstress their students because that way they find the material more enjoyable and digestible. There are the super fair professors that grade you based on your effort and knowledgeability. These types of professors also encourage participation and just want their students to show interest in the material, so it works out. Last but not least, there are the challenging chill professors. Unlike the filter professors, these professors treat you like a person, make some exceptions, and are all around fair. The only thing is that they like to challenge their students. This is probably my favorite type of professor. I took calculus honors in college for Calc 2 and Calc 3, and the professor was challenging, but he was the best at teaching in the entire school. There were times where you would get a low score on the exams and he would have to curve, but for some reason, the challenge and the pace of the class was incredibly enjoyable to me. So these were some of the things you should consider and professors you would find in college. Maybe sometime I'll make a video about my personal experience in college in the future. I wanted to add in at the end of the video, the purpose of this channel is to help engineering students or maybe any kind of student that might be looking for help. This includes college students, high school students, and maybe even younger, or hopefully I can inspire and educate our future generation. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.